Well. The Brexit Minister David Frost is sticking to controversial demands despite the EU proposals in the dispute over the special rules for the north of Ireland. We recognize that the EU has tried very hard, Frost told the Politico online portal on Friday. Nevertheless, he again insisted that the European Court of Justice, the ECJ, should not be the highest arbitration body for problems around Northern Ireland. Fundamental changes are necessary if a solution is to be found, said Prime Minister Boris Johnson's confidant. The chair of the European Parliament's Internal Market Committee, Anna Cavazzini from the Greens, said the Commission had gone to the limit with the proposals. Frost negotiated the Brexit treaty himself, by the way, for all those that still don't know that. He met the EU Brexit Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič in Brussels on Friday. The meeting of the two politicians on Friday in the Berlaymont building, the seat of the EU Commission, was an expression of the extremely bad relationship between Great Britain and the EU, which they, so to speak, now try to warm up with a meal together. The occasion is the dispute over the so-called Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol, once again. And the question is whether sausages and other goods can be transported from Great Britain to the north of Ireland. According to the so-called Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol, which is part of the withdrawal agreement, or what others call the Brexit agreement, between the Kingdom and the EU, exchanges without checks should actually no longer be possible in the future. Renewed discussions between the partners should now help to find a solution after all. How this is to be achieved is questionable, however. The fronts are more hardened than ever since Great Britain initially rejected a compromise proposal presented by the EU on Wednesday. This would mean that checks would be eliminated for many real products. That means for goods that are mainly found on supermarket shelves, especially in the north of Ireland. Vice Commissioner Šefčovič commented in this regard on Wednesday, "I invite the British government to work together with us, honestly, for this package of measures and to make use of its possibilities." The emphasis was mine, not his. Frost, however, was not very enthusiastic about the ideas from Brussels. Although he recognized the efforts of the European Union, he has also stressed that the position of the British would not change significantly as a result. "Your proposal is not the only one on the table describing our offer to the Commission of what we are aiming for." Well, the ECJ is responsible for the internal market. You won't change that. The Northern Ireland Protocol provides that the still British part on the north of Ireland will remain part of the EU customs union and the internal market even after Brexit, which is why, from the EU perspective, the ECJ must be responsible. The regulation avoids a hard border with the EU member Ireland, which would presumably lead to new tensions in the what we in Germany always call the former Civil War area. However, this created a customs border with the rest of the UK, and there were some severe restrictions on intra-UK trade. Šefčovič had promised considerable relief for the movement of goods between Great Britain and Northern Ireland on Wednesday. The test of the quality standards for food and other goods are to be reduced just as significantly as customs formalities. Medicines should also be able to reach north of Ireland without restrictions. There should be exceptions for typical products in the supermarkets such as sausages. The EU proposals were welcomed in Great Britain while the response in Northern Ireland was more critical. Of course, the leading unionist party, the DUP, which stands for Don't Understand Politics, I repeat that, called for the customs border in the Irish Sea to be completely lifted. For Cavazzini, the announced easing is a reason for caution. To be honest, I'm concerned that the integrity of the internal market is also at risk to some extent with our proposal. The background to their concern is that attempts are currently being made to find a long-term solution. However, if the UK were to relax standards in the future, goods could enter the EU in an uncontrolled manner that did not comply with European rules. According to Cavazzini, it is uncertain whether London will accept the EU offer. I do believe that the British government is not really acting rationally, she said. This has to do with domestic political dynamics, as I said before in many of my videos. The Northern Ireland Protocol is a thorn in Johnson's side because the north of Ireland is doing better than the rest of the UK, and this shows that Brexit has problematic consequences for Great Britain. In the Brexit dispute with Great Britain, now the German government is against renegotiating the Northern Ireland Protocol, but supports the simplified implementation proposed by the EU Commission on Wednesday. We refuse to renegotiate the protocol, said a government spokeswoman in Berlin on Friday. She referred to the talks between the British government and the EU Commission next week. And by the way, that won't change with the new government, even under Chancellor Scholz. British Brexit Minister David Frost had previously asked the EU to be more accommodating on the Northern Ireland issue. Yeah, they are as accommodating as they can get. They even go further than I would have agreed with. Prime Minister Boris Johnson signed the so-called Northern Ireland Protocol as part of the Brexit agreement in 2020. Since then, however, he has argued that it was agreed in a hurry and that improvements are needed. They didn't even implement that one. The EU Commission had offered on Wednesday that the EU would slim down the customs regulations and checks on freight traffic between the British heartland and the north of Ireland. The protocol stipulates that the north of Ireland, which belongs to Great Britain, remains part of the EU internal market even after Brexit and must therefore adhere to the EU customs rules. As a result, goods transport, as I said before, from the British heartland across the Irish Sea to north of Ireland are subject to customs checks. As part of the adaptation of the so-called Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol, the EU Commission and Great Britain this week the Commission admitted proposals to facilitate the movement of pharmaceuticals to Northern Ireland and from there across the border to Ireland. The reason for this is, among other things, that the north of Ireland had already complained about supply bottlenecks. The EU Commission's proposal provides a number of things, and you should know them. Manufacturers of generic and OTC drugs based in England, Scotland or Wales can leave all persons and tasks involved in areas such as batch testing and approval or pharmacovigilance on British soil if they want to deliver medicines to the north of Ireland with a UK approval. Originally, this should only be possible until the end of December 21 at the latest. But with a view to the costs and medical care of the Northern Irish, the Commission now wants to accommodate the British. In return, however, the European Authority requires the United Kingdom to comply with EU pharmaceutical law in these cases. This includes anti-counterfeiting protection, among other things, although the UK has been separated from the European anti-counterfeiting system for pharmaceuticals since the beginning of the year. And this means that packs that are exported from the European Economic Area to Great Britain no longer have to be decommissioned. Northern Ireland, however, continues to use tamper protection. There were already reports that how pharmacies handle packs from Northern Ireland. The rule usually is if the package has a data matrix code, it will be treated like a German package unless it is an individual import here. And in order to put a stop to the resale of drugs in EU countries, every drug approved in Northern Ireland should have a corresponding code on the box. But that's not all. In addition, the EU Commission wants to oblige the British government to publish and maintain a list of approvals in the north of Ireland. According to the German Federal Association of Drug Manufacturers, the BAH, the first reactions from Great Britain to this EU proposal are still cautious. The association had repeatedly pointed out the problems of the Brexit papers. Food from England or Wales that is shipped to Northern Ireland will also no longer have to be strictly checked. According to media, the EU is offering the United Kingdom relief in the Northern Ireland Protocol, which aims to reduce administrative burdens by 80%. And on my other channel, I brought you the speech from Šefčovič, so that's what he said. Sausages and other processed meat products can once again be traded across the Irish Sea to the north of Ireland. If a truck transports various types of food to the northern part of the Emerald Isle, a single certificate should be sufficient for the entire load in the future. Now you need one for each part of it. The EU is thus accommodating the government in London, which is suspending the mandatory checks anyway, and still complains about vacancies in Northern Irish grocery stores. However, the UK government has so far never been satisfied with any EU offer. For the minister responsible, once again, David Frost, the concessions on the sensitive Northern Ireland question are not enough. He is so delusional, this man. The minister also rejects the European Court of Justice as the highest authority for disputes over the Northern Ireland Protocol. And I'm repeating this because this is insane. This in turn is an unattainable requirement for the EU. If the two sides fail to come to an agreement, the entire EU trade agreement with the United Kingdom will shake. In the worst case, tariffs could then be set again for agricultural and food trade with the EU. Nevertheless, the British Brexit minister is sticking to controversial demands despite the EU proposals in the dispute over special rules for Northern Ireland. And he's insisting again this utter nonsense about the ECJ. And he's saying fundamental changes are necessary if a solution is to be found. Seriously. In domestic politics, I'm just saying. The chair of the European Parliament's Internal Market Committee, once again Anna Cavazzini, said the Commission had gone to the limit with the proposals, and I would even add they even went over the limits in some cases. And that's why I do not understand why the EU went that far, to be honest. Of course, they don't want to be blamed. But out of respect for British MP Sir David Ames, killed in a knife attack on Friday, both sides announced on Friday evening that they would not publish any further statements than they did so far. The EU Commission announced that it would comment on the conversation on Monday, and it is quite understandable. In one of my videos yesterday I talked about this, and I'm still shocked that more and more politicians, we had one in my home state here recently as well, are victims of assassinations in terror attacks. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.